Welcome back, once again adventurers, to Let's Play BlazBlue Calamity Trigger. In the last episode, which was a fairly short while ago, for which I apologize, we witnessed Jin Kisaragi follow Ragnar and Nu into the depths of the cauldron, and through which Jin somehow mysteriously ended up going back 100 years, just days prior to the birth of the Black Beast, created by the unfortunate fusion of Ragnar and Nu 13. But as you can see, we're back here in Ronengai of Kagutsuchi, the settlement of the survivors of Ikaruga, of the civil war between them and the NOL. And we have actually defeated Bang Shishigami once again, and by we I of course mean Jin Kisaragi, Major of the NOL, Hero of Ikaruga, and wielder of the blade, the katana known as Yuki Anasa. But we have one final story path to venture down, so this time we're actually going to go down that path by ridding ourselves of the obstruction that is Bang Shishigami. Something we didn't do last time. In other words, Jin intends to finish this duel one way or another by cutting Bang Shishigami down right before him.
Boss! Jin, stop it!
Yeah, Jin Kisaragi is a very detached and cold-hearted individual in matters of warfare.
Stay out of this! This battle is mine, and mine only.
And once again, Bang Shishigami putting on a brave face in the wake of his defeat.
Boss! Damn it! Can I get some help over here? I'm sorry, sir. Please forgive me for butting in, but we can't afford to lose you right now.
Bang's subordinates, since Jin doesn't have any subordinates from the NOL here. Well, Bang's subordinates are basically jumping into his rescue.
Everyone attack! Don't let him get to the boss!
He's already gotten to Bang Shishigami there, so too little too late. So, two ninjas who may or may not have, well, I was actually going to say, what weapons they have, the ninja stars, for which, the shuriken, there we go, I almost forgot that for a second. But you're going to use shurikens against a katana that has ice powers. And they've increased their numbers. Killing these insects would be simple, but there are more than I expected. The mess would take some time to clean up, and my cover would almost certainly be blown. I cannot afford that, because right now, Jin Kisaragi is trying to stay off of the NOL's radar, because he is actually not supposed to be in Kagutsuchi. In fact, he is actually, I believe he is only supposed to be doing sort of civic duty paperwork over at NOL headquarters, but on account of a certain Grim Reaper being sighted in Kagutsuchi, who is almost certainly Jin's erstwhile brother Ragnar the Blood Edge, Jin is loath to actually entangle himself any further.
Keep dancing around, you pathetic scum.
But Jin is certainly not in the mood for taking on a crowd.
Don't let him go! After him!
Even though he is almost certainly capable of doing so.
How irritating.
Case in point, Yukiana's vaunted ice powers.
Sealed the road with ice. You bastard! Fight fair!
Yeah, fighting fair has never truly been Jin's style.
Ridiculous.
And so he goes, and save again. Saving over Jin's previous save. I continue inward, toward the center of Kagutsuchi. The city overflows with ignorant, filthy human bodies, all of them polluting the air around me. Not to mention the fact that there is quite a lot of seether, although it tends to stick closer to the ground. And lo and behold, we are in the business district of Kagutsuchi known as Orient Town, judging by the decor. The city is chaos, and its people disgust me. Although, to be fair, people in general disgust me. Yeah, Jin, for all his accolades and, yeah, that have been heaped on him by the NOL, is genuinely, or generally, an introvert. And even his days at the military academy were cordial if somewhat suspect. The lower layers are even worse than I feared. I have no business here. I notice a cluster of excited troglodytes hooting and jeering. Someone seems to have started a fight, and apparently that passes for entertainment in this place. I have every intention of walking past that knot of crass humanity, but the thing they are so excited about is impossible to ignore. Yeah, Jin does not like, for a man with his regal bearing, Jin doesn't, like dealing with people. I believe I've already covered that.
That's Sector 7's.
Oh ho, it looks like, the NOL isn't, the only, complication in Jin's part this time, because there is actually another faction at work besides the Novus Orbis Librarium and, as well as the now defeated Ikaruga Federation, of which Bang Shishigami belongs to. There is another organization in the world of BlazBlue known as the 7th Agency, otherwise known as Sector 7. A giant stands head and shoulders above the crowd. I know him. Taiga from Sector 7, better known as Iron Taiga or Taiga 0009. I think that's right. He doesn't belong in Kagutsuchi any more than I do. He catches me looking at him, and in an instant recognizes me. Indeed, the NOL and Sector 7 don't really stand eye to eye. And of course, the introduction of the opening cutscene of the story of BlazBlue Calamity Trigger is actually fairly telling between the relationship of the NOL, aka the library, and the 7th Agency, aka Sector 7.
What is the hero of Ikaruga doing here?
Yeah, to say that Iron Tiger is a very conspicuous individual would be putting it fairly bluntly, because like the moniker that he has just delivered to Jin here, Tiger has his own moniker. He is known rather infamously as the Red Devil, and judging by his appearance, it's not very hard to see why. But believe it or not, Tiger himself is a blend of flesh and machinery. Those giant gauntlets are more than just for show, and also the moniker of Red Devil is actually fairly well earned, because he has actually been spliced with demon genes, no less. Because in a world with vampires and ghosts, why not demons? Why not actual devils?
I'm under no obligation to answer you.
Yeah, the NOL and the Sector 7 both have a fairly adversarial relationship in the hierarchy of BlazBlue.
There is absolutely nothing in this city that is of interest to you.
But Tiger is a fairly, well, let's just say he's the complete opposite of Bang's Shishigami. Whereas Bang is more emotion and impulse, Taiga is more methodical and very analytical.
I didn't need you to tell me that. Besides, I have no intention of extending my stay.
Indeed, Jin wants to reach Ragnar the Blood Edge ASAP. Badly so.
Is that so?
The NOL has already issued a Level D alert for Kagutsuchi. I'm sure you're aware. That means all organizations must suspend activity until further notice.
Jin finally using his NOL authority. Unfortunately, Taiga isn't going to be fairly impressed by that.
Sorry, but Sector 7 doesn't take orders from the library.
Indeed they don't. Why has Sector 7 come to Kagutsuchi to begin with? That is a fairly good question. Perhaps for the same reason I have, in search of the Grim Reaper. I imagine they wish to discover the source of his power, or quite possibly harness it. Ah yes, the infamous Azure Grimoire, the very weapon which Ragnar has used to fight his one-man battle with the NOL. Whatever its explanation, I see him for what he is.
An obstacle.
Yeah, Jin sees, well, he pretty much sees everyone in his vicinity as an obstacle. And our next encounter, Jin Kisaragi versus Iron Taiga, who, believe it or not, is a fairly simple soul who doesn't actually like resorting to needless violence. In this case, however, it is unavoidable for both Jin and Taiga.
The wheel of fate is turning.
And the stage battle theme here is Motorhead, which is a very cool theme for Taiga, I must say.
Action!
Now before we get underway, I'm going to do the thing that I always do and look at the opponent's movesets to know what I'm going to be getting myself into. Now Taiga's drive is Voltic Battler, which is the use of electromagnets. Yeah, remember what I said about those giant gauntlets being more for show? Yeah, those electromagnetics magnets will basically are pretty devastating, and he can charge up as well. Now, basically most of Taiga's movesets are fairly robust in their effectiveness, because Taiga is effectively a walking giant battle tank. He's heavily armored, he's heavily armed, and he is incredibly slow. Basically think of him as Trunks in his Ultra Saiyan form from the Cell Saga. He may be slow, but he is incredibly powerful and hits like 5 Mack trucks. You get in vicinity of his fists and he will cripple you for days. Just briefly go through the moves. Gigantic Taiga Driver, which is of course Taiga's pile driver, which skyrockets to the heavens and back. Atomic Collider, an anti-air throw which uses electromagnets. Sledgehammer, which yeah, that's a two-edged attack, as you can see there with the additional attack, but yeah, Sledgehammer, want to avoid that. Spark Bolt, which is an electrical charge, which yeah, Taiga has an electromagnet gauge just under his portrait there. Voltaic Charge, which also charges, and Taiga nullifies certain attacks while he does so, which can be fairly irritating. Taiga's Distortion Drives, Magnetech Wheel, a spin attack which pulls opponents in. Terror Break, which is a additional attack following Magnetech Wheel, which is a very powerful melee attack. Not sure how to pronounce that. Genesik Emerald Tega Buster. I know how to pronounce everything but I'm not sure I pronounced the first name quite correctly there, but another powerful throw of Tega's, and he doesn't actually have any other moves at the moment. Now, something that I have completely overlooked or failed to mention at this point is the fact that most characters' movesets are actually locked at this point, although in certain instances we will be fighting characters who have unlimited movesets. Now, unlimited moves, certain moves that they have will actually be far more potent than in their limited form, but I believe I've talked enough. Try to yeah. Tega is slow, but he is incredibly potent. Ooh, and there's Tega with the fists, those red demon fists. Yeah, Tega, formidable opponent. Ooh! Try and catch you off guard. Yeah, that's actually pretty good at not only dealing attacks to enemies, but also avoiding them as well. Why do I do that when he's back there? Yeah, Tega is formidable. Don't have to resort to regular attacks to try and keep him at bay. There we go. Sparing the attacks now. And, yeah, suplex there from Tega. There we go with the blizzard, and ooh! Want to avoid that. Oh, there's the distortion drive. Magnatech wheel. Oh my god. That was fairly brutal there, but ooh, blocked with a barrier there. Good for me, but there's the electromagnets that flashing on Jin there, and ooh. There we go. I was afraid he might have hit me again, but I finished that off with a blizzard. No distortion drive for you, Mr. Tega.
I guess I underestimated the hero of Ikaruga.
More likely you underestimated his sword, as most people do.
You scum! Damn it! I'm running out of time!
And of course, it won't be long before the NOL finally catches up with Jin Kisaragi and Ragnar the Blood Edge, but whenever Tega is defeated in battle, his hypercore, which is actually built into his body, will actually shut down, rendering him immobile. The drawbacks of being a half man, half demon, half machine walking tank.
He's gone. But what was wrong with him?
But even Tega sensed that all is not well within the mind and psyche of Jin Kisaragi. But shall save again. I finally arrived at the branch office, but something is wrong. There are no guards. No people at all. I listen carefully, but I hear nothing. Indeed, as before, the main library branch, which is known colloquially as the Cathedral, which is the hub here in Kagutsuchi for the NOL, there should actually be other NOL officers and guards stationed here, but Once again, they aren't any to be seen anywhere. But I believe now is a good time to end this episode of Let's Play BlazBlue Calamity Trigger, and when we return we shall search our surroundings and see what else we can uncover. As always, adventurers, until next we meet.